Hey there, YouTube. This is finally it. We are finally to the final section of So What's Up with Pokemon? And this week we're taking a look at the 6th and currently the current generation of Pokemon. So, you're probably wondering, what's new with Pokemon in Generation 6? Well, as typical with the previous generations, of course, we're tacking on a couple or 100 or so extra Pokemon that have never been seen before. But probably the most exciting thing for this current generation, Generation 6, is that it's finally come out for the Nintendo 3DS. So that's right, I've got my 3DS up and running here. This the system does allow for 3D games. Definitely a terribly exciting thing. Now, what's interesting about the Pokemon game as compared to other 3DS games is that in Pokemon, it's not 3D all the time. So if you can see over here, my 3D slider, the 3D icon is not lit up. And in fact, if I slide the 3D slider up and down, it makes no difference whatsoever. The screen looks exactly the same. So what is in 3D in this game? There's various parts of the game that are in 3D, such as battles, the Pokedex, different locations, but just when you're traversing from town to town, in most locations, it's not in 3D. So inside the Pokemon Center, it's not 3D. But why don't we take a look at the Pokedex? And you can see over here that the 3D icon does light up. And so if I wanted to, I could slide the 3D slider up, and then the top screen may get a little bit blurry for you up here. I'm just going to go in, pick a random Pokemon. And maybe you can tell that it's kind of doing some weird graphical things here on the screen. So I'm going to turn that off because without two eyes looking on the screen, it's not really going to look 3D at all. So we're just going to get out of here. So what else is unique? Right now I'm riding my bicycle. That's not unique at all because the bicycle has been around since the very first generation of Pokemon games. If we take a look, hit the register button, which is Y in this game, it actually brings up 4 different items. So you can register 4 items. In previous games, starting in 2nd generation, you could only register 1 item at a time. And so I know most people probably registered their bicycle or maybe their fishing pole. So here I actually have my bicycle, my fishing pole. I'm not sure what that one is, to be honest. And that one is my item finder. So let's hit down, and that takes me off of my bicycle. And so you've got regular walking around. I can hold down the B button and I can start running. But now what's really cool about this game is if you use the circle pad right here, kind of substitutes as a joystick, you instantly switch to wearing rollerblades. And so you can move around a little bit faster. It's a little bit smoother travel this way. And now, hold on to your hats here, guys, because in previous Pokemon games, you can only go up, down, left, and right. In Pokemon X and Y, the 6th generation, now you can move in diagonals. So, wow, is that a breakthrough or what? And speaking of which, I didn't actually introduce these games. In the 6th generation of Pokemon, you have Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. Now, if you've been paying attention in the previous generations, for the most part, with the exception of Generation 5, now if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back, take a look at my videos, Pokemon, So What's Up with Pokemon Generation 5. But in the other generations, they've come out with 3 Pokemon titles. So, in the first generation, you had Red and Blue, and then later on they followed that up with Pokemon Yellow. So, currently, in the 6th generation, we only have X and Y, these 2 guys. Now, if you're a gambling man, you might suspect that, well, Nintendo may be coming out with a Pokemon Z. At the moment, that is not confirmed at all. Pokemon Z is not going to be released that we know of. However, we suspect that it may be at some point. What we do know about right now, though, is recently Nintendo announced that they will be coming out with a remake of Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire. Now, those were originally games that came out in the third generation of Pokemon. So if you backtrack a little bit, go take a look at my So What's Up with Pokemon Generation 3, you'll hear a little bit about Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So that's really neat. That's really exciting. Those games are not out yet at the moment. It's been announced that they should be coming out in November or around then. So take a look for those before Christmas time. Or if you have a 3DS of your own, ask for it for Christmas. Somebody who loves you might give it to you. All right, that's great. So let's take a look back at this game. And so what's a little bit different? Down here, you can actually see on the bottom screen we have, and allow me to bring this up a little bit closer, if it even focuses. We've got friends, acquaintances, and passersby. Now, let me just break those down for you a little bit. Passersby would just be people you meet randomly on the street. So if you've got your Nintendo 3DS set for Street Pass, then anybody you meet should show up under passersby. Acquaintances would be people you randomly find on the internet. Maybe you just randomly trade against a random stranger. And then friends would be people that you actually know. They have been added to your friend list on your 3DS. And so none of these people actually show up at the moment because nobody's online. However, if I were to get another 3DS and that 3DS was one of my friends, and if I were to turn that on, open it up, launch another Pokemon, either X or Y, then, wait for it. Yeah, there we go. That person lights up, a little greeting shows up, and now my friend here is actually online. This is actually a really great feature because I believe this is probably one of the most easiest ways to trade, battle, and interact with friends of yours. So I will just tap my friend's icon here, and then I have the option to battle, trade, game chat, and Opower. Now, I'll come back to this Opower here in a minute, but this trade, it's very convenient. You just hit trade. Do you want to play with this friend? Trade Pokemon. You can hit yes, no. You know, maybe I didn't really mean to do that, so I'm just going to hit no. But it's just really, really great because you don't have to go into a Pokemon Center. You don't have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to be able to trade with somebody. It's very convenient. Just hit their name, hit trade, you're ready to go. Now, let's take a look at this Opower again. This generation of Pokemon brought in this really interesting feature called Opower. And what it does is it gives you all these different abilities. From prize money power, experience point power, capture power. And what it does basically is it just enhances your ability to do these certain things. So for instance, prize money power, whenever you finish a battle and when you beat another trainer, prize money gives you extra money. And then experience point power, as you would expect, it gives you extra experience when you have this Opower activated. And then the reason why it comes up when I click on my friend is because I can actually grant Opowers to my friends. And so let's say I wanted to give my friend capture power. So I click capture power, and it says, when given to others, it costs 2 of these little orbs down here. And I know it might be a little bit difficult to see, but see, orb times 2, and then it shows down here the number of orbs that I have available. And these regenerate over time. I'm going to say, yep, I'm going to give my friend that Opower. Use on your friend? Absolutely. And then these Opowers actually level up the more you use them. So if you use capture power over and over and over, you can actually level up capture power to capture power level 2, and that makes it even easier for catching Pokemon. So that's just a really neat little addition that you can worry about while you're playing the Pokemon games. So what else is there? You know what? Actually, right now, I'm going to go and I'm going to show you a battle. So I'm going to go running through some tall grass here. Maybe you've heard about this, maybe you haven't, but in this generation of Pokemon, they've added a new feature called Mega Evolutions. So I've got a Charizard over here on my left, and that's my character, my Charizard. I'm fighting against a Pancham, level 9, very, very weak Pokemon. And I want to try out this Mega Evolution. So on my bottom screen, I'm going to tap Fight. And my Charizard actually has a Mega Evolution Stone. He's holding it right now, so I can make him Mega Evolve. And the way I do that is I hit the Mega Evolution button. And that says, okay, we're ready to Mega Evolve. And then I pick a move. I'm going to use Flamethrower. And then watch as the magic happens. So my player character activates the Mega Stone. And there you can see Charizard is Mega Evolving into Charizard X. A lot bigger, a lot meaner, and a lot stronger. So then my Mega Charizard uses Flamethrower, and boom, that's the end of the battle. So you might be asking, how long does this Mega Evolution last? And actually it only lasts to the end of the battle. However, you can use it over and over and over and over and over as many times as you want. That's the wonderful thing. I was a little bit worried that maybe I don't want to use my Mega Charizard during this really small battle, because when's the next time that I can Mega Evolve? Well, that's the beautiful thing, is I can do it the next time I enter a battle, no penalty whatsoever. So anyway, that is Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, and you'll have to keep an eye out for this coming November for the remakes of Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire for the 3DS, also going to be in 3D, just like Pokemon X and Y are here. So thank you once again for joining me on Game Chat. Hope to see you next time.